Welcome back, everybody, to another rendition of the Astral Academy. I will be your guide through the mystical and occult arts, even arts of war, at some point in time. Today we'll be talking about your written intent being placed into an enchanted object. So, these objects can have a multitude, obviously, of intents placed into them. And there's different ways you can do this. There's just, of course, the general cleansing and probably would be best to burn a black candle to keep anything like of negative intent away from the ritual that's taking place for you. So, like, as an example, not for the black candle, but as far as the intent. If I wanted to enchant this vial, right? And let's say I'm going to be placing materials inside of them that will more than likely bring in negative energy, whether they're highly light energy or they have a very adaptable core, or like magnetic sand. It can really be used for pretty much anything because the intent is very adaptable and it can fluctuate depending upon what it is that you want to use it for, but you want to put it somewhere safe. Just as a poor example, you can enchant the vial with the protection spell. And then once the ritual is over, you can place your material inside the vial. Now, let's talk about sigils. I wanted to do a whole section on sigils. However, for the sake of enchantment, yes, you can use sigils. Okie dokie. So this is a protection jar that my girlfriend and I put together. It works fairly well. I use different elements. Including sigils in the top. I don't know if you can see them or not, but the red, those are sigils. So you can create a sigil and empower it, which I will be doing in a separate section. It'll be rather short actually, because there's different varying kinds of sigils as well. So basically you can draw a sigil. It can be any shape, form. There's particular ways you can go about that, whether it's taking the words, putting them in a circle, taking out like letters, and then rearranging them, and then connecting the dots with a circle, right? Or you could, like, there's plenty of different ways that you can go about making a sigil. You could just eyeball it. You don't have to have the intent on there. But some people feel as though it's easier to manifest their intent when they place their request as either maybe a question or a statement. And instead of burning them, like a lot of people do, so when it comes to enchantment, let's see. Depending upon the object or what the container is, as an example, and it's not going to be something that you can apply to everything, but by marking the container, or even the back of it if it's jewelry, right, you can incorporate different kinds of magic into the ritual that's taking place for you. So, but we'll just stick to the normal intent-based reality that you want to occur for yourself, or like a necklace, right? So let's say you have, like me, have an amethyst in here, but you want to enchant the coil to contain magical energy so as to not use it up so quickly. And then you wouldn't have to recharge your crystals as fast, or you can even go as far to just make the chain and the spiral ball into just a form of protection in the first place. And then you can use an idle crystal in your collection and put it in there, and then you have 2 attributes instead of just 1. So, when you are faced with your object, your necklace, your bracelet, your toe ring, whatever it is that you may want, right? And you place it down, and you've cleared the energy, or you've even blessed the energy, right? And at this point, sorry. At this point, what you can do is bring in a deity, right? So like, typically there's a specific way for invocations. For gods and goddesses, it tends to be invocations. There are some evocations for gods and goddesses. Of course, that goes without saying because I don't like to talk in absolutes. I'm sure there's things that exist with the variations of human beings and how our minds work and how we try to solve problems. So at this point, you could start a ritual after the cleansing. You can light that black candle or whatever color candle that relates specifically to your god or goddess that you would like, and you can ask them to bless your object. A lot of times, Greek gods and goddesses ask me for, what do you call it? Something in return. We'll just go with that. I know there's a word for it, I just can't think of it right now for some reason. So they'll ask you for something like Hermes asked me for iron for some reason, or coins. He likes coins, money too. Athena will ask me for different kinds of things, actually. Sometimes it's hair. Sometimes she's very vague about what she wants. Offerings. You have to give them offerings, right? And at that point, after the ritual, you invoke them, you say your prayer, you invite them to your ritual, you give them an offering, and then you can continue to ask your deity, spirit, god, goddess, demon, whoever it is that you work for or with, to bless your item. And while you allow that energy to kind of settle in on whatever object you have in front of them, you can also push your energy into the object as well. If you are a little less, I don't want to say trusting, but it's like if you have less awareness of gods and goddesses or spirits, whomever you're working with, and how their energies interact with things, you may want just a little bit more certainty and your energy signature on the enchantment. So you may as well go ahead and put your energy, whether it's protection, you can hold it, and you can close your eyes and you can say, whatever it is that you like. I got you. I'm kidding. You could say things like, this amulet or this talisman. Is that right? I get the two confused a lot. But this necklace protects me. I don't like to think, like too far out into the future, like this amulet will protect me, because then what it does is it implies that in the somewhere near future it will do it, but what the energy does is it keeps it from reaching the potency of actually protecting you, because it wasn't worded properly. So there's absolutely that. Don't forget to pay respects. As a rule, when I speak to angels, I command angels, and then what do I always say? I say I command I command demons, ask angels. And it's not so much as begging for the help of a deity. It's more like, oh, I can't think of the word, but you get the point. Making offerings. You don't demand, you request things from them, basically. And if they want to help you, they will. If not, they don't. And it could be simply because of part of your personality that doesn't really grind well with theirs, or they may put you in the direction of a different deity who may be able to offer you more help and assistance in specific things. Like Aries would be helpful for a necklace to help enhance your level of fighting, or maybe even enhance your awareness while you're fighting. That way you can move better. And then of course Aphrodite, you can make enchantments for love trinkets. You can enchant them to make a specific person fall in love with you. And I do have another section on love magic, my experiences with love magic, and what to avoid when it comes to using love magic. And we will get that to a different point in time, but I just wanted to specify that the intents, of course, like I said in the very beginning of this video, have a wide variety and range of abilities that you can place onto the object, right? You can put good luck on a post-it note. You can enchant an old-fashioned drinking glass bottle with protection. You can enchant sand that you throw at your lover, right? I mean, there's different variations, and it's really just up to people's imagination and what you guys will allow yourself to feel is possible. If you start by saying that's impossible, right? My general rule, and I don't want to give anybody any bad advice, but my general rule is that if I think I can't make it happen, it's more than likely very possible. And then let's not get into the moral aspects of things that we should and shouldn't be doing, and a term, or I guess a relative compass for those kinds of interactions would definitely be someone who lives from their heart space. So if you can use your heart as a compass to direct you in what rituals may work, and whether you find them morally wrong or right, it's a good place to kind of set the bar. But right and wrong are two sides, they're two sides to the same coin. So without one, you can't know the other. Light without light, you wouldn't know what the shadow is. Without the shadow is, you wouldn't really know what light is. Like it's yin and yang, quite literally, the existence and the understanding or conceptualization of specifically fish that swim around each other, right? The symbolism of the light and dark goes far beyond just human beings' understanding of what we can physically see, and has more to do in the sense of what we feel. As we're coming back around to the Christ heart era, the second coming of Christ, which is actually just a level of perception or awareness of people to live a more heart-centered existence. And a lot of the new generations and kids that are showing up nowadays are very prolific when it comes to advancing through generations and generations, the eras of humanity. So now we're going the opposite direction. We're trying to undo all of this stuff. But so yeah, and then when we get to the intent after this video, we'll be at the closing of the ritual for specifically enchantments. If you have any questions, let me know. I know it was kind of dicey there in the beginning, but just kind of like a quick summary is decide what your intention is. You can use sigils if you like. You can etch it into things or other things that you want to enchant, and then empower it. There's different ways to empower it, but we can get to that at a different later point in time. And then you bring in a deity, you do the evocation, invocation, you light a black candle. If you don't have a black candle, any candle will do. Black is just mainly for protection, to keep spirits away from your ritual area. and then you can bring in the deity who obviously can fend for themselves. I don't mean that like in an offensive way, but they are gods and goddesses for a reason. They don't exactly require your candle. However, if you leave a candle respective to a color that they enjoy or that they typically would see in a ritual, they would appreciate that. And then once you're, and then the next part to that is you ask them for a blessing, and then after the blessing is done, you can even put your own intent into the object, right? And there, like I said, there's variations of different ways that people have been doing this for years and years and years. I don't even want to get into it. There's not enough time. So, and then after the intent is done, we will close the ritual and for sure see what it is you brought into the world. It's an expression of your own divine nature to put energy into something with a specified intent or out into reality. Whatever kind of magic you're into, whether it's mental, emotional, physical, which would be more in terms of the original alchemy, right? So, I don't know why I did that. It was probably very real, and the Philosopher's Stone also exists, but here I go rambling on again. Anyways. I'm gonna stop there. Alright, cool. So if you like this video, I know it's kind of droll sometimes, but if you hit that like button, subscribe, it would really do my favorite channel. Yes, my favorite channel. Absolutely. It would help me and the channel grow very nicely. If not a subscribe, then I'll settle for a like, which is fine. I'm not pushing anybody's buttons. And that will be it for today's video. I hope there's a lot of information in there for you guys. I know there was, and gals, or humans. So I hope you can find some use to that. Once again, I apologize for being all over the place. But that's all I got for tonight, and I will see you guys again at some point in time. I'm also on TikTok under the same name, so if you ever get bored and want to hear some new information, maybe more than once a week, maybe, there I am. Alright, bye.